Good morning, Philippines, and welcome, world. Welcome back to our monthly business forum online, brought to you by the National Real Estate Association. I am your national trustee, Alma Grace Sara, your host, and together with me is our Vice President for Internal Affairs, Consultant Jovi Francis W. Tupas. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Alma. So a very, very good morning again to all our Nrea fans, members, officers, trustees, and everyone here for our part 2. Ayan, so maraming salamat, National Trustee Alma. And then welcome back again ulit for our part 2. So hopefully, medyo nabitin kasi yung last time, ano? So hopefully we can expound and answer yung ating mga pending questions from our last session, last business forum. So again, to start with our business forum for this morning, we have the VP for our Nrea Metro Tagaytay chapter to lead us in prayer, and following this is our Philippine national anthem.
Thank you, Sir Jovi. Let us all put ourselves in the presence of God. Let us pray. Dear Jesus, our Heavenly Father, we are here today for National Real Estate Association Oshdp Online Business Forum. We acknowledge your presence and we seek your divine guidance for our panelists, moderators, audience, and every aspect of this online gathering. Please guide us in all our discussions and decisions. May this forum be filled with respect, collaboration, and understanding as we work towards the betterment of our interests, the well-being of all people involved. Amen. the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so before we start our program for today, we would like to acknowledge our sponsors. Sir Jovi, we will start it with First Park Homes Incorporated, the company that has over 3 decades of experience for its roster of noteworthy high-end development projects.
Yes, Miss Alma, we also have Davis Paint Reinvented, the Philippines' #1 paint exporter.
Of course, we also have OFW Party List, headed by our very own Narea advisor, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar Magsino.
We also have the Houselands, a homegrown real estate company that flourished as the top developer in the region.
Of course, we also have Fiesta Communities, one of the country's flourishing real estate developer that offers affordable homes to Filipino community.
SMDC, a top company that touches the lives of millions of people through its stories, malls, banks, hotels, and leisure facilities.
ATEC Homes, at the forefront of delivering affordable housing projects, creating opportunities and building lives.
Duraville Realty Development Corporation, a realty development company born to progressively heed the demand of the typical Filipino family's need for convenient and restful living experience.
Of course, our longtime partner, EGI, Eganzon Incorporated, a premier construction company with extensive experience and a valued reputation tapped by various corporate entities to construct hotels.
A. Brown Company Incorporated delivers diversified business interests such as power generation, public utilities, and agribusiness in the form of palm oil.
And of course, we have Golden Haven Memorial Parks, the largest and most beautiful chain of memorial parks in the Philippines with over 30 locations nationwide. For our NAREA officers, trustees, and advisors, and the 17 chapter presidents. AVP, please.
In line with our membership development program and to achieve a dynamic partnership among individuals and corporate entrepreneurs, we take pleasure in inviting you and your company to be a regular member of the National Real Estate Association, Inc., NREA, the one-stop trade organization in the industry. The present global trend is inclusivity and not exclusivity. We, in NREA, welcome new members regardless of nationality, belief, and membership in other organizations. Also, we are encouraging our members to become an active member of our working committees. NREA help our members to build network. For more information, you may contact our NREA Secretariat at telephone numbers 02-912-3492 and 725-48731. You can also reach them at their mobile and Viber numbers at 0927-923-1113 and 0965-539-2012. Or email them at nrea_org@yahoo.com.
And for our house rules on this webinar, kindly mute your microphones and always turn off your cameras. Only the MCs, moderators, officers, and speakers are allowed to use the microphone and camera. Type your questions in the chat box, and the moderators will assess and handle the questions after all the speakers have spoken.
Okay, so for some additional acknowledgement, we would like to acknowledge the LGU of Mamalay Balay Bukidnon and the LGU of Giginto Bulacan, and our fellow representatives from the Subdivision and Housing Developers Association or SHEDA. Ms. Alma?
Yeah, oo, meron din tayong mga kasama from the Organization of Socialized and Economic Housing Developers of the Philippines and the Chamber of Real Estate and Builders Association or CREBA. And of course, welcome to our different chapters of the National Real Estate Association. Sir Jovi?
Yes, so with that, I think it's now time to start the program. So let me introduce to you the National President of the National Real Estate Association, Mr. Red J. Rosales. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, esteemed officers and members of NREA, valued representatives of the local government units, guests, and all our partners dedicated to building a better future for Filipino families. I am delighted to welcome you once again to this crucial conversation, a follow-up to our productive June Forum and the Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino Program or 4PH. The overwhelming response at our NREA Sud National Convention in May, coupled with the continued urgency to address the housing crisis, made this forum an absolute necessity. The 4PH program represents a beacon of hope, a promise to bridge the gap of 6.5 million housing units needed by Filipino families. However, innovation and collaboration are the key to maximizing its impact. That's why today's forum focuses on exploring supplemental programs that can complement 4PH strategies. This forum presents a unique opportunity for a private and government. We have the privilege of hearing from esteemed leaders from the Sud, Pag-ibig Fund, and the Organization of Socialized and Economic Housing Developers of the Philippines, or Nrea-Oshdp. To our developers and NREA members, share your expertise. Do your projects align with 4PH modalities? Do you have alternative schemes that can contribute to the program's success while adhering to socialized housing requirements? Your insights are invaluable. To our LGU representatives, your role is fundamental. We need your perspective on implementing these programs at the local level. Let's work together to streamline processes and ensure smooth collaboration. Together, we can craft a comprehensive approach that leverages the strengths of both 4PH and supplemental programs. This forum isn't just about policy discussions. It is about action. Let's translate ideas into concrete steps, fostering an environment where real estate projects support, not hinder, the goal of providing Filipino families with secure and dignified homes. Remember, we are all stakeholders in this mission. Through open communication, collaboration, and unwavering commitment, we can turn the tide on the housing crisis and make home ownership a reality for millions of Filipinos. Thank you again for being here. Let's embark on this impactful dialogue together. Muli, isang magandang umaga at maraming salamat.
Golden Haven Memorial Park is known for its thematic memorial parks with inspirations around the globe. We are Golden Haven Memorial Parks, and this is our story. Established with a nationalistic objective, Golden Haven was brought to life in 1982 by former Senate President Manuel P. Villar Jr. It is part of his vision to create brands that are continuously woven into every step of Filipino lives. Considered revolutionary in the industry, Golden Haven boasts of themed memorial parks modeled after the world's most iconic locations and created by the country's most respected architects and engineers. With landmarks such as the famed Christ the Redeemer statue in Golden Haven, Cagayan de Oro, the Nuestra Señora la Virgen del Pilar in Golden Haven, Zamboanga, the Imperial Gardens of Golden Haven, Cebu, the Pope John Paul II statue in Las Piñas, among many others, Golden Haven strikes a perfect balance between solemnity and sophistication. Golden Haven believes that every Filipino dreams to leave a lasting legacy in his hometown. Thus, through Golden Haven's massive expanse of over 30 projects nationwide, the promise of meaningful repose is a reality for the Filipino anywhere in the archipelago. With a wide plethora of products from loan lots, garden niches, columbarium vaults, to the grandest of them all, the esteemed family estates and mausoleums, Golden Haven provides plenty of options for its clients to invest in. Whichever the choice may be, all Golden Haven clients are assured that their investment is of top quality and will carry the promise and philosophy of excellence that Golden Haven has been adhering to maintain the title of Premier Memorial Park Developer in the country. Since its establishment in 1982, Golden Haven has helped millions of Filipinos be prepared for the most challenging times. Despite its inevitability, plenty of the Philippine population regard debt preparations as a non-priority. Hence, when time does come, expense triple or even quadruple in comparison. This is the reason that Golden Haven is arduously working to be the top of mind for Filipinos, both online and offline. As a general reminder that preparation comes a long way.
More than answering the basic need for death care, Golden Haven has been a goldmine for Filipinos who have dared to invest in its grandeur. Dubbed as the most lucrative low-maintenance investment option, Golden Haven's investors are treated to an average of 20% annual increase in valuation. Lot values are only expected to rise with time as Golden Haven has shown robust expansion and consistent market capitalization through the years. Being born of a visionary's penchant for progress, Golden Haven has stayed attuned to the times through leveraging technological advancements. Golden Haven's investors and clients can expect top-notch touch points all throughout their customer experience lifecycle. Regularly updated inventories and fully immersive 3D site tours can be accessed from any mobile device. For account management, Golden Haven has developed a mobile application where account holders can manage their accounts or pay their monthly dues. A seller application is also up for all accredited sellers of Golden Haven to manage their sales, check their commission payouts, and view the status of their client's account. Interment attendees can also remotely be a part of their departed solemn rites through the revolutionary technology Wake Connect, bringing distant families closer during the most trying times. Golden Haven Memorial Park's social responsibility is built within mind, geared for the long-term sustainability of both business and the immediate environment. Open spaces and greeneries are ample in all of Golden Haven's park, while offices are powered by renewable solar energy. A testament to Golden Haven's commitment towards a more holistic future. Golden Haven Memorial Chapels is the beacon of premium deaf care in the Philippines, established in 2017 in its flagship branch Las Piñas and followed by another branch in Angeles, Pampanga. Golden Haven envisions to become the staple, top-of-mind choice for clients for its sophistication and its complete array of services. The newest addition to the Golden Haven family is the Golden Haven Pet Crematorium. Launched in October 21, 2023, Golden Haven Pet Crematorium, located in Pulang-Lupa, Las Piñas, features state-of-the-art facilities and equipment to ensure a gentle and compassionate care for our pets. This venture completes the premier death care services Golden Haven has long committed to provide in the country.
Okay, so those are one of our sponsors. This is the second part discussion on one of the government's programs that plays a significant role in the attainment of the Philippine Development Plan for 2023 to 2028, or the 4PH, or Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino Housing Program. It is focused on enhancing the quality of life of the common Filipino community. With us are four panelists, and the first two will be introduced to us by our Narea Metro Rizal chapter through Ms. Josephine Cortez. Ma'am?
Good morning, everyone. For our special guest for today, we talk to DHS Director Frank Gonzaga. Frank Lloyd Gonzaga currently serves as the Director of the 4PH PMO Strategic Planning and Finance Unit, where he passionately integrates his advocacy for housing and inclusive financing. His career trajectory includes different roles such as Vice Corporation Executive Director at the Philippine Finance Association and Head of Department at the Home Guarantee Corporation, where he developed responsive guarantee programs which allowed not only the universal and commercial banks, but rural banks as well to participate in home lending. Frank's academic journey began at the University of the Philippines, Political Science and Government, followed by a master's degree in Tourism, Development, and Management. Aligning his knowledge and skills to complement the goals and visions of the Department of Human Settlements, the urban development, particularly with the 4PH or Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino program, he plays a vital role in ensuring the provision of affordable housing solutions for Filipinos. His interests have been cultivated through years of experience in program management, shaping him into a grounded yet determined individual who is ultimately committed to societal development. Our other speaker or special guest is Jacqueline O. Constantino of the Department Manager 3 Institutional Housing Department Corporate Sales Group Home Lending Operations Cluster Pag-ibig Fund. She is a graduate of BS Human Ecology, major in Human Settlement Planning at the University of the Philippines, where she completed her units for master's degree in public administration at Philippine Women's University. She never seemed to tire from studying, as she also took up her master's degree in development management and governance at the University of Makati. She is currently the Department Manager 3 of Institutional Housing Department under Corporate Sales Group. The said department is in charge of the marketing and facilitation of institutional programs, projects, countryside housing initiative, rental housing, end user, and pambansang pabahay para sa Pilipino program of the fund. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pen Cortez. And for one of our esteemed panelists is also engineer Marcelino C. Mendoza. In what the industry considers as the apex of his career, engineer Mars Mendoza is at his busiest ever, having successfully transitioned from corporate life to becoming the leader in socialized housing advocacy for the homeless, poor, and marginalized. Among the projects he has assisted are housing for the blind masters of Vibes Massage in malls and airport for homes, housing for victims of Typhoon Sendong, which is equivalent to Typhoon Yolanda of Mindanao, in Cagayan de Oro City with J.L. Ledesma Foundation. He has advised a number of housing non-government organizations. Among them are Homeless People's Federation, Philippines Incorporated, Link Build Incorporated, Technical Assistance Movement for Peace and Environment Incorporated, and Philippine Action for Community-Led Shelter Initiatives Incorporated, in which he serves as one of the board of trustees from 2020 to present. Our speaker currently is the private sector representative to the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development's National Human Settlement Board Technical Working Group, the highest and most important government instrumentality in housing policy and housing production for the term 2023 to 2026. Such is his second appointment, the first being in 2018 with the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, representing builders, contractors, developers, civil society, housing NGOs, and the academia. He has risen from the ranks in the corporate career, spanning 35 years to become president and chairman of the board of Camela Homes, Vista Land, the largest home builder in the Philippines, with more than 200,000 houses and building units constructed. He has also become the undisputed and foremost housing industry leader, having been at various times president and chairman of organizations of socialized and economic housing developers of the Philippines, president, chairman of Subdivision and Housing Developers Association Incorporated, and board advisor of the National Real Estate Association at all various dates since 1996 to present. He has undertaken special studies with the Harvard University Graduate School of Design, as well as participated in various international conferences. The most important is the second UN Habitat General Assembly of more than 100 countries in Nairobi, Kenya in June 2023. He is the recipient of the Gawad Lagablab as one of the Philippines Science High School Most Outstanding Alumni in 2008, and as Distinguished Alumni Award from the University of the Philippines Alumni Association, as well as Outstanding Alumni Award from UP Alumni Engineers 2006 and award from UP Industrial Engineering Alumni Association in 2021. Recently, He received the Achievement Awards from UP Alumni Engineers and National Real Estate Association in 2023. All the awards, recognitions are for socialized housing. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Engineer Marcelino Mendoza. And for our next panelist, I would like to call back Sir Jovi to introduce.
Thank you very much, Ms. Alma. For our next special guest and panelist, may I introduce to you Attorney Christopher Ryan Tan. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Houseland Group and all its affiliate companies. Aside from being a lawyer, he is also a licensed real estate broker, real estate appraiser, and a real estate consultant. He currently sits as the Vice Chairman of the Organization of Socialized Housing Developers of the Philippines, or OSHDP, as well as the Infrastructure Development Subcommittee Chairman of the Pampanga Chapter of Commerce and Industry Incorporated, or PAMCHAM. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a distinguished lawyer, an accomplished real estate professional, and a dedicated community leader, Attorney Christopher Ryan Tan. We will now start with the panel discussion. Let me hand this over. For our moderators, let me introduce to you Ms. Ana Liza Asis Castro, known to her students as Dr. Pinky. She is a real estate broker for more than 30 years and a real estate consultant who placed fourth in the 2019 Philippine Real Estate Consultants Board Exam. She is a Verde professional and a Field GBC Health and Well-Being for Buildings accredited professional. She teaches at the Ramon V. Del Rosario College of Business of the De La Salle University. She also facilitates learning in the Real Estate Management Program of the De La Salle College of St. Benilde. She is a contributing writer to Business World, Manila Standard, and the Manila Times. Her management experiences are in the food industry, industrial and commercial, and the real estate development and management. Bestowed with a full scholarship, she completed her doctoral degree in business administration from the De La Salle University. She was conferred a gold medal in her MBA by the Ateneo de Manila University and Regis University. She gained her Bachelor's of Science degree in business administration with a major in marketing from the University of San Francisco. Dr. Asis Castro was also a team member of 5 professionals who undertook a project on strengthening technical competency for consumer protection on the conception of the training modules and manual for trainers in the phones, internet services, e-commerce, health services, professional services, consumer credit banking, and environment, safety, and labeling sectors for ASEAN member states. Her uploaded YouTube video entitled For Real Estate Broker, How to Register with the Anti-Money Laundering Council reached almost over 17,000 viewers. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Annalisa Pinky Asis Castro.
And of course, our equally esteemed moderator is consultant Edwin Binag Calamba. He is a multi-licensed realty service practitioner in the fields of brokerage, appraisal, and consultancy, an international realtor member of the U.S. National Association of Realtors, and holds leadership roles in several real estate and business organizations, such as him being the current national president of the Philippine Association of Realty Consultants and Specialists Incorporated, or PARCS, and a member of the RR3 Executive Committee on Real Property Valuation in Region 2, Tuguegarao City, the president of Emmanuel Realty Builders Corporation, ERBC, and as the proprietor of Emmanuel Realty Service and Development. He is the author of Everything About Housing. His expertise spans to financial management, townhouse construction, and real estate appraisal. Recognized as the City of Ilagan's Outstanding Citizen in 2011 and Outstanding Isabeleño Entrepreneur in 2014 for his significant contributions to investment promotion. Our moderator, Sir Edwin Binag Calamba. Okay, for our AVP for sponsors before they start and take over.
Ang Mondo Skim Coat SK3 ay isang ready-to-use na acrylic skim coat paste. Ito ay madaling ipahid at madaling gamitin para sa minor imperfections ng masonry surfaces na magre-resulta sa makinis at patibay na finish bago pinturahan. Ang Mondo SK3 ay ready-to-use at easy to apply. Sag-resistant. Mayroong very good adhesion sa concrete and masonry surface. Easy to sand. Resistant sa hairline cracks. At makaka-achieve ng smooth surface finish. Ang Mondo Skim Coat SK3 ay recommended para sa interior at exterior surfaces. Ito ay recommended para sa plastered masonry walls, precast walls, concrete columns, ceilings, at iba pa tulad ng overhead applications. Madaling gamitin at ipahid ang Mondo Skim Coat SK3 gamit ang mga sumusunod na tools and equipments: scraper or putty knife, stainless steel trowel, cloth. Simulan sa surface preparation. Siguraduhin ito ay tuyo at malinis, free from oil, grease, dust, dirt, at iba pang contaminants. Kung bago ang surface, siguruhin ito ay nag-cure na ng 5 hanggang 7 araw bago mag-apply ng Skim Coat SK3. Ang Mondo Skim Coat SK3 ay ready to use at hindi na kailangang haluin at haluan ng kahit anong materials gaya ng tubig o semento. At dahil ito ay ready to use, hindi na kailangan mag-alala na baka matuyo o tumigas ang Skim Coat compound. Matapos gamitin at kung hindi naubos, siguruhin natakpan ng maigi at i-store ito sa cool and dry place at maaari ulit itong magamit sa susunod na application. Basain ng kaunti ang concrete surface gamit ang tubig o basang-basahan bago mag-apply. I-apply ang first coat ng Mondo Skim Coat SK3 gamit ang malinis na stainless trowel at may kapal na 1 mm per coat. Maghintay ng 30 minutes hanggang 2 oras kada coat. Depende sa kapal at kondisyon ng temperatura bago mag-apply ng susunod na coat. Patuyuin ng 4 hanggang 6 na oras bago lihain ang mga minor imperfections, mga risalte at mga hindi gaanong pantay na application. Hayaang mag-cure ng 24 hours. For best results, gamitin ang tamang recommended na painting system. Mag-apply ng 1 coat of concrete primer and sealer. Patuyuin bago mag-apply ng 2 top coats. Mondo Skim Coat SK3. Super strong at super sulit pa. Mondo. World-class building solutions. Building a world of possibilities. For more information, visit our website on www.mondo.ph and follow us on our social media pages. Brought to you by Davis Paints.
Okay, so we can start the ball rolling. May we call our moderators, Consultant Edwin Calamba and our Director, Dr. Annalisa Aziz Castro.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all our viewers, to the officers and members of Nrea, to our esteemed guests. Indeed, it is a pleasure and honor to be with you today in the second part of the Nrea-Oshdp online business meeting with our distinguished guests, our real estate professionals, guests, and interested stakeholders of this great flagship project of our government. I'm sure you're most interested on how we would know what's going on today with this flagship project. And we're here to understand more about the program, the policies, and the updates that our distinguished guests can help us understand. So how should I say, give the floor first to say hello with my co-moderator, real estate consultant Edwin Bina.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My heartfelt felicitation and congratulations to the National Real Estate Association of the Philippines for doing this business forum. I know it's really very important business forum for the developers, especially for the stakeholders, helping this Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino program by the Marcos government. So we are really grateful for this business forum. I hope we can extract information so that we can really apply this on the ground, being a developer also. So it's good that we have a very good speakers and panels for this purpose, speaking.
Yes, definitely. But I think before we delve into the core of our discussion today, it may be best to request our distinguished guests to let us know about their department, what their current initiatives are, and the achievements of their department and their responsibilities in the 4PH flagship project of our government, of the president. So maybe we can ask, if it's all right, Director Frank Gonzaga of the DHSUD first, and then followed by Ms. Jacqueline Constantino of Pag-ibig, then by Engineer Marcelino Mendoza of the Organization and Socialized and Economic Housing Developers of the Philippines, which we call in short OSHDP. So you would be hearing us the word OSHDP, or the acronym OSHDP. And finally, also by Attorney Christopher Tan, the legal counsel and past president of OSHDP. So may we give the floor to Director Frank.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Sir Edwin, Ma'am Ana, Sir Ryan, and Sir Mars, no? And Jackie. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Unang-una po, maraming salamat po sa NREA sa pag-imbita sa amin sa forum na ito upang may paliwanag at makapagbigay ng ilang klarifikasyon o kaya masagot ang ilang sa mga katanungan ninyo patungkol sa 4PH program. Sa ngayon po, ang Department of Human Settlements ay patuloy pa rin po kaming nagtatrabaho para po ma-achieve yung targets sa sinet po natin. Alam ko po na may mga advanced questions na ipinadala sa amin. At hopefully we get to answer all the questions, particularly those sent by the OSHDP. Ako po ay head po ng 4PH PMO na humahawak po sa strategic at finance support. Ibig sabihin po nun, we are trying to address the gaps of the program as we go along. And we're also the unit coordinating with Pag-ibig with regards to their end user financing and the direct developmental loan program. So yun po na sa ngayon. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you po. Si Ms. Jackie po, if it's all right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good morning po to Ma'am Ana and Sir Edwin and to all the stakeholders who are now here in this forum. And as mentioned also by Director Frank, we are also very grateful. Pag-ibig Fund is very grateful for giving us the opportunity to be able to share what Pag-ibig Fund has been doing in support of the 4PH program of the government. As far as Pag-ibig Fund is concerned, I'm sure you have read in the newspapers and have heard that we have allocated 250 billion pesos for developmental loan to encourage proponents to support and be involved with the 4PH program. So far po, the 250 pesos will be given or is allocated for 6 years. So on a yearly basis, it will be 42 billion. So far po, as of this year we have approved a total of 20.166 billion pesos to finance around 19 projects nationwide to produce about 18,000 units of housing units. Of the 20 billion po, we already released 1.106 billion po as of July. That's I am Jackie Constantino po. My department po, the Institutional Housing Department, is in charge in working with DSUD and with other proponents in explaining or clarifying what 4PH and what Pag-ibig Fund can do, what we are offering to our stakeholders in support of the program. My team po is the one who is providing briefings like this. We are attending this kind of a forum and basically explaining how Pag-ibig Fund can help reach, hopefully, the target housing need of our country. So that's it for now po. Thank you so much.
And Engineer? Engineer Marcelino?
Yeah, Mars here, no?
Marcelino, yes, sir.
Yeah. Number one, I'll just give the context. Ryan will be dealing with the specifics, no, of the OSHDA proposal. OSHDP is the association that is focused on production of mass housing. So we are the producers. This has been true. We are providing most of the production for the last 20 years, no? Number two, OSHDP is fully 100% supportive of the government and Secretary Acuzar's 4PH program. What we are proposing are enhancements where the private sector can fully participate and contribute to 4PH. As DSUD, NEDA, Pag-ibig, BOI statistics would confirm, the private sector contributes more than 50% of housing sector production for mass housing. The rest would be contributed by government in various ways, NHA, SHFC, in connection with flagship programs of DPWH and DOTR. We want to maintain that more than half contribution. And that is the purpose of this paper. The only way to solve and even to slow down the increase in a ballooning housing backlog that is at 6.6 million is to produce more houses. So we want to really contribute to 4PH.
Yes, sir. So we can delve into that later on the purpose of the paper, which you mentioned. Thank you very much for giving us an overview. How about Attorney Tan?
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I have a long name, but you may please call me Ryan. I am currently the CEO of the Houseland Group of Companies, as introduced. And I'd like to take this opportunity to let everyone know that on the part of our company, being one of the first ones to respond to the call to actually participate in the 4PH program, I'd like to send my appreciation to our friends from the department, from DSUD, herein represented by Director Frank, and of course, si Ma'am Jackie Constantino from Pag-ibig Fund, for their very active assistance in navigating perhaps a very novel and shall I say aggressive program that this administration has introduced. Malaki po ang suporta nila at pinapaalam ko po sa lahat na talagang nandyan po sila para umalalay, tumulong. And I'm happy to report to everyone that in September we will be holding our concrete pouring ceremony, and hopefully we'll be able to deliver the housing units, if not late this year, on the first quarter of 2025. As introduced, I am the current vice chairman and the number 2 person of Engineer Mars Mendoza, representing the Organization of Socialized and Economic Housing Developers of the Philippines. You'll hear from me. We would be very happy to answer some of your questions from the moderators, and would be very happy to share about the idea that we are now proposing, not really to change 4PH, but to boost it. Because from the perspective of an actual practitioner, an actual producer on the ground, not only do we have skin in the game, we have blood and sweat on the ground, just to share with you how to scale up this wonderful program. Thank you very much.
Hi, Attorney Ryan, good morning. Thank you for the input coming from you. What do you think about this proposal? There is a lot of proposal coming from DSUD already. There are a lot of laws and department orders. And Pag-ibig is releasing already funds for this purpose. Now, what's happening on the ground as far as you, developer, is concerned? Because we have also 13,800 projects now ongoing here in Isabela. So we just have a groundbreaking together with the National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation and Pag-ibig and DSUD. So what do you think is about your proposal to
All right.
the success of the 4PH program by the government?
Thank you, Edwin. From the perspective of OSHDAP, this 4PH program, as I've described it, is quite novel and, shall I say, bold and aggressive. Bold and aggressive because it attempts to introduce a cultural bend as to how Filipino housing is being introduced as a matter of policy. As you know, the Secretary's leadership direction for this program is to encourage the development of vertical housing projects, meaning condominiums. Initially, they were encouraging to build mid-rise to high-rise. We're very happy that they listened to us, that the practicality of building a low-rise for vertical development is a good start already. It is a culture bend in the sense that, as we all know, the Filipinos are preferring horizontal housing. Ano ibig sabihin po nito? Mas prefer po ng kapwa nating mga Pilipino na bumili ng house and lot. And we appreciate this suit in the sense that tama po yung pinanggagalingan na filosofiya. In other countries, there were really attempts to really conserve the use or the land use of our country. And perhaps it is time that we consider introducing into the Filipino culture urban living, especially to the urban centers of our country. We know that the current problem is the urban sprawl, meaning to say the unfettered development of our urban centers, not leaving any spaces for community spaces, green spaces, and all. However, in any change and change management, we are being the sounding board of government and giving this feedback that it is not very easy, and it is very important that we listen to our kababayan. While we take leadership into encouraging this kind of housing preference, it is very important that we also need to respond to the urgent need, that is to bring housing or shelter to those who needed them the most. And at the same time, also to match what is really the demand on the ground. And that's the tricky part. On the part of the developers, and now I will shift from the perspective of the policymakers to the perspective of the producers. That is really a difficult path to follow. Difficult, not necessarily negative, but perhaps would need a lot of assurance, because the target of 4PH on a vertical development program would still be the lowest or low-income earners. And the very big problem of this program, very big concern, if I may, is whether or not our end user beneficiary would be able to, number one, afford the housing packages, and number two, sustain. Because definitely Director Frank will tell us that there is already a subsidy program. But the lasting program, the sustainable concept, the sustainability of this program really needs to be addressed. What will happen 2 years, 3 years, 5 years after the program if the subsidies are no longer in place? What will happen if the capability and the capacity to pay would not be there? And that is really a big risk. That's why OSHDAP wrote a booster, because true, in the span of the market where there are people who needed housing in the formal earning sector, meaning yung nakaka-afford, yung meron pong trabaho, they can very well benefit from this program. Pero meron pa rin na tinatry nating i-target yung poorest of the poor that have very limited savings. And we thought that this proposal would be able to open not most, but a significant number of housing units also for them. In other words, there is a place also for the poorest of the poor in the 4PH program. That is what OSHDP is saying.
Sir, with
Thank you for that.
regards to the proposal, we've been mentioning about this proposal. Maybe for the benefit of our viewers, you can explain what is the basis of the proposal, and then what are the recommendations in the proposal, so we can go through this.
Thank you.
Thank
Let
you.
me just put it into proper context. The 4PH program is a banner program of Secretary Acusar and the current administration of the Department of Human Settlements. But please take note that they have not done away with the mainstream program. So yung mainstream program po natin ng pabahay is very well in place. But they are channeling the resources to 4PH to encourage specifically what I have mentioned earlier. And the concerns that everyone is already expressing about the affordability and the sustainability of the program is still there. Now, that is the context. You have a menu of different housing programs to choose from under the main housing program of the department. And then there is what you call the Balanced Development Housing Act, or socialized housing compliance of the developers. And I think this is really where we are wanting to center on. We all know as real estate practitioners that every subdivision project, residential subdivision and condominium projects, there is a requirement for every developer to set aside and produce socialized housing to the extent of 15% for subdivision or horizontal development and 5% for condominium or vertical development. 15% or 4%, 5% is based on the total project cost or the project area. Now, dito po nagkakaroon ng issue because in the definition of the socialized housing, there is currently a singular conceptual definition, and that is the price ceiling. We all know that the current socialized housing price ceiling had been adjusted. We know that some are happy, some are not. Some are commenting that it has become a little bit complex because of the introduction of the several tiers of price ceilings. But nevertheless, that is the conceptual definition. Truth to tell, OSHDP is that association, as Engineer Mars had earlier described. We are the producers, and that is the niche where OSHDP was actually situating itself. It is in the formal market socialized housing, meaning to say, if government says that the price ceiling of socialized housing are within a certain price level, today it's 850,000 house and lot for horizontal and several tiers all the way to 1.7 million for the vertical. OSHDP would normally apply for a license to sell and produce accordingly, in the hope that in the course of the production, with all the government support, both developmental loan and or end user financing loan, the formal market, meaning to say yung regular buying and selling, developing, selling, and then a buyer will be able to pay it, will make the program and the economic framework of it, the market framework of it, function. However, it is not so, because even if the price ceiling had effectively been adjusted, we have not seen, at least from my perspective, members of OSHDP developing in throes. Unlike before, where we see mass housing development left and right, today we don't see those phenomena happening. And that's where the problem is. Now, government attempted to introduce alternative compliances. Ang sinasabi po natin, yung current price ceiling is not enough to encourage the private sector to produce. Government introduced several alternatives. Nandyan na po yung offering asset-backed securities. Nandyan na rin po yung, sige, wag ng buong 15%, but only 1/4 of that if you just donate the cash. Doon po kami pumapasok. Because what we thought that the alternative or alternative incentivized compliance, meaning to say specifically the very famous or infamous, if you may, escrow funds na i-donate na lang ng main developer to give away in an escrow fund yung cash. we are thinking perhaps we can tweak that program a bit so that we can focus on production. Today, the alternative incentive that is in the escrow funds, I understand, has not been fully utilized. In the reports that we heard from Congress, escrow funds have grown to total to about 9 billion pesos. And that has been there in the bank accounts for probably 3 years or 4 years, and it was badly hit by the pandemic. We are saying that if we can use that money rather than cash, but in kind, meaning to say, since the SUD knows to specify the minimum standards and the cost ceilings of producing a socialized, perhaps government can allow this time around to not give cash, but to deliver the housing units for giveaway. And that's the big idea. Non-recoverable, produced socialized housing, vertical. And who are the target beneficiaries? Those who cannot afford. The biggest concern in the 4PH program today, as I mentioned earlier, is the sustainability. If there is no subsidy to those buyers, how will they be able to pay 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years down the road? With this alternative compliance, Oshdp is saying, you may no longer look at marketing the project, administering the project, documenting the project. Why? Because government now can focus on choosing the proper beneficiaries, have a priority list, and kami naman po, as developers, we will keep on producing dahil especially that government is now making available government lands for us. We will just continue to produce, not in escrow funds, but in actual production. Ang hinihingi lang po namin, since this is now bigger risk on us, kasi hindi lang po cash in the bank accounts ang aming compliance, ang hinihingi po namin, baka naman bigyan tayo ng konting incentive that rather than 4 times the credit, we are asking for 5 times the credit. Now, what would be the cherry on the top of that proposal? We are saying that today, we understand that Pag-ibig Fund has set aside 250 billion pesos in developmental assistance. Of course, si Ma'am Jackie, I don't know if she would be able to disclose how much of that had been already utilized. But since money is already in the bank, then perhaps, rather than interest subsidy, government can consider capital subsidy. So what do we mean by that? Since developers are willing to produce housing units, non-recoverable for donation, then perhaps Pag-ibig can also help us fund our compliance in that manner. And if there is a subsidy, government can probably subsidize half of it. Pupunta ba yan? It might be controversial kasi that originally pumupunta sa beneficiary. Bakit ngayon isa-subsidize yung institutional loan for compliance? We're saying it is not gonna go to the pocket of the developer. It is a capital subsidy because it is a subsidy to the good, to the housing units that will be given away. That is cheaper in the long run. As real estate service practitioners, we know that when we go on in absolute terms, peso to peso and value to value, an interest subsidy is more expensive and lesser beneficiary compared to a capital subsidy, which is directly to the good and directly and effectively going to the beneficiary. I know it's a long paper, but I guess that's the very meat of the proposal of Oshdp.
Okay, that's a lot to take in from the subsidy, from the capital incentive, and etc. Maybe we can do this one by one in terms of, let's say, what's happening with that. Well, we know now that the escrow funds, you wanted to tweak, right, the program because it's not fully utilized and it has grown to 9 billion pesos and it's still in the bank account. I'm trying to understand this, that the donation should be of the housing that has already been developed will be given donated to the beneficiaries. Am I correct to understand this?
Uh, uh, as a simple approach, we were proposing to follow the currently in place framework whereupon the developer will be entering into an agreement with an LGU or a national government association, a national government agency, or a community association that would be allowed by the DSUD. I'm reading the charter of DSUD. I think even DSUD as a government entity can also enter because of its special powers granted to it by law. So that's why it's beautiful, because in the escrow funds, you can partner with anyone for as long as it is approved. Pretty much the same here.
Okay, and the escrow, I'm reading the proposal, and the escrow is to move away from having an escrow, but because the project is 100% capital given by the developer from the land to the cost of developing, you will not, your proposal is not to require an escrow?
First, this is a developer the option is on the complying developer. In other words, just to address some of the concerns, we are not advocating that the escrow funds be eliminated. Okay. If yun ang option ng developer, they're more comfortable to give escrow funds, then so be it. No? But as far as Oshdap and Oshdap members are concerned, we are in the production, and sayang po yung opportunity na nawawala in our time now. I think that those are like 3 years or 4 years already. It has grown to that amount of money. So we're not in the proposal, we're no longer talking about a developer being required to put cash in escrow. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the developer directly complying. We can propose a land, or we can bid for a land that is made available by the partner government instrumentality. Mm-hmm. Especially now that we are saying the SUD is in possession of the idle government lands. Mm-hmm. And the components of determining the inputs to production, we're talking about the land development, and the construction, including the overhead costs. Those, what I like about current DSUD's framework is that they specified. In fact, rather bold, because never mind your actual costs according to DSUD. What we're saying, if land cost is to be taken, it should be 1,000 peso per square meter. Kahit mababa po yung bili ko ng lupa, ang take up po ng DSUD ngayon pirme. Yun din po ang site development, yun din po ang building. Of course, yung ibang developer magrereklamo kasi bakit mas mahal ang compliance ko? Wala ito yung uniform policy now. And that is actually beautiful in the sense that if that is now specified, then it is easier now for us to produce, because that is now the compliance credit or the compliance basis that we can use. So wala na tayong cash in the bank. You know that cash loses its value over time. Mm-hmm. And it has to be criticized that way. And number two, there is really no skin in the game. There is really no effective compliance, if you ask me, because ang daming beneficiary na po sana ang nabahayan if naging tunay na pabahay itong mga cash in escrow. That's why we're very excited with this program, kasi when we were like deliberating this among ourselves, among developers, Oshdap developer, ikaw ba gagawa kung ganito ang programa? And we were, from the board, very elated to hear that if that is the program, ay gagawa na lang kami. Mm-hmm. Because it not only is within the very intent of the law, the original Housing Act, UDHA, but it feels good because now kami po na nagpo-produce on the ground, it pains us to see our socialized housing buyers magkasakit lang ho ang padre de pamilya, nagdi-default. Mawalan lamang po ng trabaho, nagdi-default. Ang biggest pong fallout namin in the mix of our buyers from socialized, economic, low cost, mid cost, ang socialized po ang very sensitive to economic shocks.
Mhm.
With this program, there's real hope. There is real hope that indeed we will be able to provide decent and affordable, not only decent and accessible housing. No, never mind affordability.
Thank you po.
Sounds pinky. If we allow also the pag-ibig and the
Issue.
the decent to talk about the proposal or
Or to
what
give
is
a
their take
reaction.
as far as their proposal is concerned. Can you give si Director Frank po. What do you think about the proposal, Director Frank?
Maraming salamat po. Actually, nabasa ko po itong proposal na to. I read it line by line, no? Siya, Atty. Ryan kasi ito sulat nito. And I'm always interested to read the proposal of the Oshdp. And well, I for me po, no, I fully support the proposals. But just to give you an update lang po, sir. Right now, as what have been mentioned po, no, yung na-mention ni Attorney Ryan na 9 billion, siguro if we're gonna convert that to housing units, you're correct, Attorney, mga 18,000 units ito kung we'll be using put and production cost of 500,000 per unit. Now, pag tinaas natin at 750, it will translate to around 12,000 housing units. Sa ngayon po, ang meron na po tayo sa ating pipeline ay meron na po tayo 158,409 units that are currently being built, no? That's the concerted efforts of the SHFC, the NHA, and the DSUD, no, in partnering with the developers and the contractors, both in the regions and NCR. So total po niyan ay 64 projects that are ongoing. But in the totality of the program po, sa pipeline po natin, meron na po tayo nakita na 1.2 million that's in the pipeline. This includes the pre-production o yung mga nag-aasikaso pa po ng mga papel at yung mga proposals po that we have received or the letters of intent that we have received indicating their willingness to participate in the 4PH program. So yun po ang ating numero sa ngayon. Ngayon, kung isa-isahin po natin yung proposal po ni Attorney Ryan, we will be very much happy to sit down with you and look at the numbers. And actually, ito translated to actual numbers po. Kung sinasabi niyo po na instead of the escrow and using it plus the capital subsidy po, that's how I understood it po, no? Yung bukod doon sa escrow fund using it and then the capital subsidy instead of interest subsidy. Let's see how the numbers will translate po into actual housing units. Katulad po ng nasabi ko, 9 billion seem much po, no? But if we look at and we use production cost in putting up a vertical housing unit, which sa very prudent estimates po, 96 units will probably cost around 60 million, no? Ito ay isang 4 floors offering 94 units, may 60 million pesos po ito. Ilan po kaya ang mapoproduce natin na housing units using the escrow funds? But having said that po, no, please be assured that the Secretary has also given us instructions to look at how to leverage po the existing escrow funds and how we can maximize the use of in building and accomplishing what we have set out to do. So that's as far as the as far as the recommendation of Oshdp on the compliance and the escrow fund is concerned. Now, meron din pong proposal Oshdp po regarding sa yung multiplier. I will have this has already been brought to the attention of the DSUD, and I think the Office of Yusek Gary de Guzman, in charge of the housing regulatory, HRED po, no, is already studying this as well. Yung isang na-mention niyo po is yung government lands. You're correct. This has been supplemented by yung EO 59 has also been supplemented by Administrative Order number 21 that was issued this year, creating an interagency council in determining the government lands. Right now po, we're in the process of getting the cooperation of the government agencies as well as the government owned and controlled corporations to identify the lands that are idle po as far as their use of it is concerned. Now, What we have noticed, though, is that when we use the private, particularly for the LGUs po, no, is that we have to go through the PPP or the public-private partnership center na para po may determine nila what is the best use for the land. So they have to have a say, or rather a check, at least to check po the completeness of the requirements whenever an LGU enters into a PPP contract. So yun po muna siguro, sir. But I'll be happy to just to reiterate po, to sit down with Attorney Ryan and Sir Mars po with regards to their proposal and look at how many units will this translate to. Thank you po.
Director Frank, we have a meeting with the local government unit, no? Usually, anong instrumental ang gagamitin natin between the private contractor and also the government? We'll be using the government properties. Yung use of frac agreement, okay na rin po ba as far as this is concerned?
Opo, actually, ito po, I believe Ma'am Jackie will also be able to explain that Pag-ibig will also take out even if the agreement is under use of usufructory agreement. So ito po ay nasa modality po ngayon ng mga several projects po natin, particularly yung Palayan project po natin sa Palayan, Nueva Ecija, and yung pong ating project sa Bacolod. These are under usufructory agreement po. Now, we have, as I've mentioned po, no, in the, I think the last forum that we have actually, ang ginagawa po natin dito is we're trying to determine the pain points and at the same time the compliance to requirements po. So meron po kaming nilabas na bagong circular to outline po the documentary requirements that a developer or a contractor will have to submit in every stage or phase of having your project accredited as 4PH project. So yan po, I will be very happy to share that with you. But generally po, we divided the accreditation process, or rather not accreditation but recognition ng isang project as a 4PH into 5 phases. And yung 5 phases po na yan is from the MOU signing and down to the last stage, which is the tripartite signing. So yun po yung ating ginagawa ngayon. Kasi napansin po natin that some are really hard to some takes time to comply po doon sa mga requirements na ito. I'm sure si Attorney Ryan has also experienced the same. But please be sure that we're always here to guide you and to assist you in these endeavors.
Okay, si Manager Jackie about the Pag-ibig funds po. About the use of frac agreement, Ma'am Jackie, usually kasi 50 years yung or after 25 years fully paid na po yung mga mortgages ng mga end users. We know by the fact that that land is owned by the local government unit. How would you navigate this, releasing the title of the condominium certificate under the name of the end users po? I think nakamute, Ma'am Jackie.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. We have accepting po usufruct agreement in our projects. Sabi nga po ni Director Frank, it's the project po in Bacolod is a usufruct on a usufruct agreement. And normally po sa usufruct agreement po, we always require that the usufructory right should be longer than the loan term. So kung loan term po natin is 30 years, at least 50 years po. In fact, even before the 4PH, meron na po tayo mga tinanggap na usufruct lands, and we already financed the units, particularly po for condominium. Kasi po ang collateral naman po ng ating loan is not the title of the land, rather the CCTs, the Condominium Certificate of Titles. So meron na po tayong mga ganyang partnership even before the 4PH was conceptualized. The Muntinlupa project also, wherein we are also a partner with the LGU Muntinlupa. The property is owned by LGU under usufructory agreement din po yan. So tinatanggap na po natin yan kasi we have to admit that not all lands can really be disposed. In fact, it may even be better if the land will remain under the ownership of the LGU. Kasi they have to maintain the development, or at least sustain the development and of the project, kasi kanila yung lupa. Diba? So, sinasabi po namin sa mga borrowers po natin na you have to think also, and look at the other side of the coin. Like, okay, you do not own the land, but at least hindi na ninyo gagastusan. Kasi normally sa iba, they have to create an association, and then the association will spend the sustainability of the land. In the case of Usufruct, kung pag-aari pa rin po na LGU yan, they are still the owner, so they have to maintain the development of the land, or the whatever has to be done na LGU. Unlike kung ibibigay mo na po yan sa HOA, eventually po binabalik din naman sa LGU yan for maintenance. So, usufructory right is better option actually for LGU lands. As far as the support naman po ni Pag-ibig Fund on the 4 PHs I have mentioned po, we have allocated already 250 billion pesos for the 4 PH. On top of the developmental loan, we are also committed to provide special lane po for the 4 PH for the end user financing. So supportive po naman talaga si Pag-ibig Fund sa lahat po ng programa ng government. With regards po to the proposal po of Oshdp, whatever will be the decision of the SUD, kasi sila naman po talaga ang policy making body, sila po yung agency that is overseeing all the housing development. Kung ano po yung sasabihin po ng DSUD, we will always support po. Pag-ibig Fund is committed to support all programs of the government and DSUD po.
Okay.
So napakaganda po, no? Cons Edwin, probably it might be best to have a break for a while and then come back to it. And we have many other questions to ask that would help us get updated with what's going on with the 4PH, with our esteemed guest. All right, Cons Edwin, I have a question to Pag-ibig, if it's all right. In the proposal that was given by Oshdp, it mentioned there that there would be a cost method in terms of how they would, the development standards will be adopted to a minimum of cost threshold, which means that the overhead and finance cost the non-recoverable input to the production would be included in it, including the indirect cost, which are the interest on the developmental loans that would be including the land and the land development cost. And then there is a price ceiling of socialized condos not more than 180,000, regardless of the building type, which would now translate to the supposedly the amount of money required to be deposited to an escrow account. But it also mentioned that Pag-ibig Fund may extend a direct developmental loan to the complying developer on a risk-based pricing method. My understanding of a risk-based pricing is that when a lender offers you less favorable loan terms, it would be on a higher interest rate. So the lender now decides what is the basis on the information that's given on the credit report or the application. And so the lenders would often charge a higher interest rate if based on the risk of the borrower. So Ms. Jackie, could you tell us how what is the current pricing method in terms of interest being applied by Pag-ibig today, and is this different from what is being applied today?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that question. Okay. Pag-ibig Fund is actually observing the risk-based framework also. Although we still offer I believe we still offer the lowest interest rate for developmental loan. Ang ating pong, in a sense that we now offer, unlike po before na flat rate po siya, meaning regardless of the amount of the loan, pareho din po kasi sa end user financing, we also observe risk-based pricing method. We now are following parang repricing. Dati po kasi pagka regardless, it depends on the loan package, 16% siya pag malaki ang amount. So nag-iiba po tayo ng packages, ng interest rate. This time po, we are observing a repricing method following the banks. For a 1-year repricing, we give developmental loan, it's 5.875. For a 2-year repricing, it's 6%. And for a 3-year repricing, it's 6.250. If for those who are averse on fluctuating interest rate, pwede po niyang i-avail yung 3-year repricing natin na 6.250. However, as far as Pag-ibig Fund po is concerned, we are not after profit. So we do not really change our interest rates. As long as we are able to sustain the program, we are able to sustain po the commitments to our members, hindi po tayo nagbabago ng rates because we are really encouraging participation of more stakeholders. Ito pong ating 5.875, 6%, and 6.250 used to be higher. It used to be for a 1-year repricing, it used to be 6%, and for a 2-year repricing, it's 6.250, and for a 3-year repricing, it's 6.375. So mas mataas po noon. Ngayon po, since we are really encouraging participation of more stakeholders, instead of increasing it because of the increasing demand, increasing inflation and everything, we lowered the rates para nga po mas marami po ang makasali at mas marami po ang ating matulungan ng mga kababayan po natin. So, we're observing the risk base in a sense that we basically check the financial status of our developers, their capability to complete the project. So meron po, yun yung po ang aming basis of checking. Meron po tayong mga parameters for our developers. For the 4PH naman po, in fact, for the 4PH, mas nilawakan po natin ang ating pong coverage. The Pag-ibig Fund is now open to contractors. We now give developmental loan to contractors, to local government units, to joint ventures, and to developers, even if they do not have any transaction yet with Pag-ibig Fund.
So
Because
mas
kasi,
risky po sila kasi they never had any transaction. Yung pong sinasabi ninyo na parang meron po siyang range, ganun
yes,
po ba? Yung
yes
inyong
po.
flat rate, meron siyang range from this this
Yes po.
percent to this percent po.
Yes po. So kung mas preferred po nila na hindi mag-change ang ating pong rates, they will go for the longer range, yung higher rates po na fixed siya for 3 years. Ang ating lang po talagang tinitignan dito is the background of the developers, like ang nire-require na lang po natin ngayon, they should have housing development experience at least for 5 years para po makita natin kung talagang nagde-develop na po sila and they have completed several housing units. Not necessarily through Pag-ibig Fund, meaning hindi nag-deliver kay Pag-ibig Fund for end user financing, but they may have been involved or in housing production with NHA, with Social Housing Finance Corporation, with private banks. Yun po yung ating tinitignan na meron na po silang mga complete na project with other agencies po.
So there's a follow-up question for Ma'am Jackie. Ma'am Jackie, we know very well that Pag-ibig Fund is very supportive to the 4PH program. There is a question coming from the beneficiaries or the end users for takeout. Are you subsidizing these interest rates up to the end of the term, or do you have any program about the subsidy as far as the end user is concerned?
Okay po. For the interest subsidy po, for the 4PH, ang nag-handle po niya, the one who is implementing that is the Department of Human Settlement, care of Director Frank. Sila po talaga yan wherein the government or has committed providing an interest subsidy of 5%. So ibig sabihin, whatever the balance will be, kung kaming po ngayon na ating pong end user ay 6.250 for a 3-year pricing, the beneficiaries will only be shouldering 1.250. The 5% po will be shouldered by the government or by the SUD po through the interest subsidy na nga po. However, we also have this affordable housing program wherein we offer a special rate for minimum wage income earners. So, ibig po sabihin, meron po tayong ang ating pong affordable housing has been there for so long. We have been giving this 3% interest rate to minimum wage income earners. So, ibig sabihin, ang atin lang pong requirement is dapat the project should be classified as socialized housing on the basis of the license to sell issued by the SUD, and dapat po ang kanila pong income ay within the minimum wage range lang, hindi po siya lalampas. Kasi pag tumaas na po siya doon sa minimum wage, automatic po yung system po ni Pag-ibig Fund, automatic mag-shift na po siya to regular end user financing. So, meron din naman po kaming program for the minimum wage income earners po. And this is 3%. We have been observing this for several years now po. We give 3% for the minimum wage income earners po.
Is that the group land acquisition program, Jackie? Or...
No, sir. It's the counterpart of end user financing. The regular end user financing observes the regular interest rates. The affordable housing is it's also in end user financing offered to the minimum wage, wherein we only charge 3% for the first 5 years. Anticipating that after 5 years po, siguro naman medyo okay na yung economic status ng ating po mga beneficiaries. So, mag-shift na po siya to the regular end user financing. However, if after 5 years we found out or the beneficiary proves that yung kanya pong income is still within the minimum wage, we extend it to another 3 years. So, yung 3% po, another 3 years. So, basically, that's 8 years po. After that, we really have to shift to the regular kasi po, remember, Pag-ibig Fund po is not a government money. This is a money of our members. This is a private money. And we also have commitments po to our members to give this back to them in the form of dividends. So we cannot just give away all this money just to help a certain sector. Kailangan po kasi matulungan din po natin lahat ng members and ensure that they're able to recover or at least be happy with the dividends that is being offered by Pag-ibig Fund for their savings. So,
So this
kailangan
is,
po natin i-balance yan.
yeah,
Opo.
okay. So this is a different socialized housing from 4PH, because if we're dealing with socialized housing, so you will be taking out 850,000 only as approved by the DSOT. Is that correct, Ma'am?
Pagka socialized housing, for example, po sa horizontal development, sa approved ceiling po for socialized housing is 850. As long as meron pong license to sell na ipapakita po ang ating pong developer na ito po ay socialized housing, plus ang kanya pong package is 850 of course, and the floor area is 32 square meters. Yan po kasi nakalagay na requirement po ni DSUD. Then, at ang ating pong beneficiary ay minimum wage, then they will enjoy a 3% interest rate po.
Meron lang po akong tanong. Doon po sa proposal ng OSHDP, nakalagay po doon na this should to grant capital subsidy to the compliance project. Ito po kaya, pwede ba itong, kaya ba ito ng Pag-ibig?
Okay. If I may po, if I was able to get the sharing of Attorney Ryan kanina, parang ang sabi niya is they are willing to develop socialized produce this time production, hindi siya sa escrow, production of socialized housing unit, especially on government-owned land. Kasi nga ang DSUD po now is now has the authority to have the identify idle lands of the government for housing. Ang sabi po niya is 50% will be the subsidies coming from escrow or whatever, and the 50% will be Pag-ibig Fund. We may of course give the 50% share for the development, but this cannot be given out for free. It has to have an interest pa din. Parang developmental loan din po siya. But still following po the regular dev loan interest rate po natin na binibigay ngayon sa 4PH. Hindi po kasi tayo pwedeng mag-finance for free because this is not a government money.
Correct.
We have to give this back
So,
to our members po.
Given po that your pricing interest rates is based on a risk-based pricing, kapag po ba ang DSUD ang 50%, bababa ang interest rate dahil partner na sila ng developer para mas maraming makapag-avail ng developmental loan from your organization?
That will have to be discussed po that has to be discussed po with our management and has to also consider the financials of Pag-ibig, taking into account that this is a private money din po. So so far nga po sa 4PH we give the same interest rate. It's sabi ko nga po binaba namin yung interest rate, but not only for the developers of the 4PH. We also give that to our accredited developers who are getting developmental loans kay Pag-ibig Fund. So bibigay din po natin kasi tumutulong din po tayo sa ating mga private developers to construct units for our members. So pareho po yung binigay po natin na interest rates for them for us to also give them access to our fund. As to giving, anyway, ang ating po kasing rates is so far mababa na po siya if you can look at the other private institutions who are giving out developmental loans. Medyo mataas po ang nasa market po ngayon. Ang alam ko po, Pag-ibig po ang pinakamababa. So whether we will be able to give a special rates for developmental loan for those who will be joining yung kay proposal po ng OSHDP, then it will have to be decided upon by our financial experts also and our management.
I see.
Okay. Yeah, there's a question for Attorney Ryan, Pinky, no?
Yeah.
For Attorney Ryan, as someone from the private developers who first heed the call of the government to participate in the 4PH program, what concerns, matters do you see that holds back the other private builders now, Attorney Ryan, no? From
Okay.
enrolling their project to the 4PH program?
Yeah. Cons Edwin, let me just quickly react lang dun sa reaction ni Ma'am Jackie kanina. Ma'am Jackie, yung pong part of the proposal is that the borrower to the developmental housing loan for the purpose of our proposed compliance is the developer. So hindi po talaga siya intended na loans for free. So what we like about the program is that there is it is an institutional loan to produce that we will give away, but we will still pay the loan back. Kaya po kami in a way humihirit sa national government since while we are borrowing, we are now making the allocated funds for 4PH productive. In other words, meron pong performance itong allocation na to in terms of actual production. And then from the perspective of risk exposure of Pag-ibig Fund, you have your traditional good track developers paying these loans in the regular obligation. We will still pay the regular interest rates. That's why total pupunta naman to diretso sa ating mga beneficiaries. That's why we thought that a portion of the subsidy can also help pay down those loan. Kasi hindi po sayang yung national budget allocation for this program kasi pupunta rin po yan sa pondo ng Pag-ibig, which Pag-ibig can in turn relend to several other projects and programs. So yun lang po, quick reaction.
Yes, sir. That's how I also understand that kanina when Sir Ryan was presenting the program. They will also get a loan from Pag-ibig Fund, not for free. Ang tinatanong na lang po kasi ni Ma'am Pinky kanina is if we can give a special rate. That I cannot really commit anything right now, but we will have to discuss it po among our management, of course, and our financial experts, ensuring that it will not also jeopardize the fund because, as I've said, it's a private bank, a private fund that we have to give back to our members in the form of a dividend. So, hindi ko pa po masasagot if there will be a special rate. But definitely, alam ko naman si Attorney Ryan is not mentioning na free yung ano kasi alam niya hindi kami pwede magbigay ng for free na financing. He knows that. Thank you
Yes,
po.
ma'am. And then on the question, Cons Edwin, I'll be very honest, no? And this is really what I liked about the process is the openness of our friends from the SUD and Pag-ibig Fund. There was a time at the early part of this 4PH program na Director Frank, no, every week may bagong circular. So parang siguro at the early stage, yung mga developer, sandali muna, parang yun ang reaction. Sandali muna, hintayin muna nating mabuo talaga yung programa kung ano talaga yung pirming programa. But nakaging katuwang namin ang DSUD doon sa pagpaplano ng proyekto. So every step of the way, I think yung aming proyekto, kung may 40 revisions, meron ho akong pinagdaan ng 40 revisions because kada putol ng unit, kada taas ng height, yung open space, yung amenities, laging kung tumatakbo sa DSUD at ang pasalamat ko po sa DSUD is bukas po talaga ang pinto nila para upuan kami, bigyan kami ng tip, sabihan kami early on na hindi pwede yung gusto namin. And I believe na it's true, it is an honest collaboration talaga. Kaya po doon sa mga nakikinig po ngayon, wag po kayong matakot na lumapit po sa DSUD dahil nandiyan po talaga sila para tumulong. And Ma'am Jackie, ako po, last step na po ako sa inyo. So after this forum, ako naman po ang may love letter sa inyo para sa ating developmental loan. And I trust Pag-ibig Fund has always been very supportive to us. And I know that they will be there for us.
So we'll be looking forward to that, sir.
Si Engineer Mars is raising his hand. He'd like to say something.
Yeah, just to add to Attorney Ryan, because the question is what is preventing developers or what will make developers participate more? I just want to share the sentiment of a lot of developers that number one, this is a new program, no? So the developers are used to conventional programs, and maybe to put it in perspective, most of the developers are used to horizontal housing. Number two, this is a program that has the LGU and as the centerpiece, no, up to maintenance even, no, and this is something that is again new to the developers, no. So the program is set in a way that it is a sort of a hybrid in a sense for developers, where developers will become in effect contractors, no? And that is what we are trying to convey to the government. We want to participate, but this is something new. This is a work in progress. And so the proposal of Oshdp is something that can perhaps enhance it and make the developers really active participants in the program. Thank you.
And just to add, I wanted to commend the DHSUD earlier, saying that they are putting together some guidelines on the steps. I think that has something to do with the Citizens Charter Handbook that the developers can follow, which would entail, let's say, what would the steps to be undertaken by the developer, which agency would take actions, the fees that are involved, the processing time, which was discussed earlier and was being delved in the last meeting. Before we end, I think Cons Edwin would like to acknowledge some distinguished guests who are here in our show today.
I cannot see them actually, Cons Pinky. But then I just want to say something also, no?
Yes,
about the developers handbook. I think it is proper also to lemonize this to all beneficiaries. If there is also a beneficiary handbook.
Right.
Yeah, for that purpose. I think we need to suggest this as far as this is concerned with the collaboration of the Oshdp and the National Real Estate Association.
The suggestion of the Oshdp having to have a one-stop shop to standardize the process, the procedure, the requirement, the rationalized processing time is very important, so that we're not lost, whether you are the beneficiary or the developer, so that it would be easier for the developer as well to reach the target, the goals of the 4PH. So anyway, just to acknowledge, we have the SHFC consultant architect Beth Regala in listening to us, LGU of San Pablo, Laguna, the LGU of San Miguel, Surigao del Sur, LGU Tuguegarao, LGU San Fernando, Pampanga, LGU Calauan, Laguna, LGU Santa Fe, Nueva Vizcaya, LGU Gumaca, Quezon, LGU Dupax del Norte, and the SHDA officers. We'd like to thank you for being with us today. So, without delaying our further, we would go back to our hosts, and for the presentation of certificates and MCs, we'd like to thank you very much, our esteemed guests, to answer the questions as much as possible, and we look forward to understanding it more. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much to our sponsors and thank you to our speakers. The topic has been very, very challenging. The demand for affordable land and housing remains to be a huge challenge, and sustainability is indeed the key for a successful housing program. Sir Jovi, mukhang magkakaroon tayo ng third part.
Oo nga eh, parang nabitin ako sa totoo lang. Yung part 1 medyo bitin itong part 2 parang I've been thinking of other questions pa, no? Parang mas maganda. No? So anyway, Miss Alma, to continue on, may we call on our NREA Executive Vice President, Miss Maria Lauren B. Sales, for the presentation of certificates to our special guests and panelists.
Okay, good morning everyone. The National Real Estate Association, Inc. proudly presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Director Frank Lloyd Gonzaga, Director 4PH Project Management Office, Finance Support and Strategic Planning of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as our special guest and speaker during the NREA Business Forum online entitled 4PH Programs, Policies, and Update Part 2 on July 31st, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Philippines FB Live. Signed by the Board Chair Lady, Consultant Imelda Magtoto, the National President, Mr. Red Rosales, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and the Secretary General, Ms. Lourdes Bernadette B. Carlos.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Secondly, we want also to award or present this Certificate of Appreciation to Ms. Jacqueline O. Constantino, Department Manager 3, Institutional Housing Department of Pag-ibig Fund, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as special guest and speaker during the NREA Business Forum online entitled 4PH Programs, Policies, and Update Part 2, this July 31st, 2024, via Zoom and NREA Philippines FB Live, signed by the Board Chair Lady Consultant Imelda Magtoto, the National President, Mr. Red Rosales, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and the Secretary General, Ms. Lourdes Bernadette B. Carlos.
Thank you so much po. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, to present the plaque of appreciation, Ms. Lynn Ann. To present the plaque of appreciation, the National Real Estate Association, Inc., the one-stop trade organization certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to Mr. Marcelino C. Mendoza, Chairman of the Oshdp, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as special guest and speaker during the NREA Business Forum online entitled 4PH Programs, Policies and Update Part 2. Issued this July 31, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto, Mr. Red Rosales, National President, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and yours truly, Consultant Lourdes Bernadette Carlos. Thank you, Sir Mendoza. Okay. The second certificate, the National Real Estate Association, Inc., the one-stop trade organization, Certificate of Appreciation is proudly presented to Attorney Christopher Ryan T. Tan, Legal Counsel and past President of Oshdp, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as special guest and speaker during the NREA Business Forum online, entitled 4PH Programs, Policies and Update Part 2 on July 31, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Philippine Facebook Live, signed by our consultant Imelda C. Magtoto, Board Chair Lady, Mr. Red J. Rosales, National President, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and yours truly, Lourdes Bernadette Carlos. Thank you, Attorney Tan.
You're welcome and thank you very much, Andrea.
Thank you.
May we call on Architect Ronnie B. Biando to present the certificates for our moderators.
Thank you, Mr. Jovi, and good morning, everyone. So, the National Real Estate Association, Inc. Presents this certificate of appreciation to Consultant Edwin Calamba, President of the Philippine Association of Realty Consultants and Specialists, Inc., or PARCS, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as moderator during the NREA Business Forum online entitled 4PH Programs, Policies and Update, Part 2, on July 31, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live, signed by the Board Chair Lady, Consultant Imelda Magtoto, our National President, Mr. Red Rosales, Chair Emerita, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and our Secretary General, Consultant Lourdes Bernadette Carlos.
Thank you, Architect, and thank you, Andrea.
And thank you also for gracing our event today. Another certificate of appreciation as moderator is given to Dr. Annalisa Asis Castro, a certified professional of the Verde and Philippine Green Building Council and professor at the De La Salle University. So, Dr. Annalisa, please accept our grateful appreciation and certificate.
Thank you po. Thank you. Thank you.
The National Real Estate Association Incorporated, the one-stop trade organization. Certificate of appreciation is given to Mr. Jovi Tupas, our NREA Vice President for Internal Affairs, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as MC during the NREA Business Forum online entitled 4PH Programs, Policies, and Update Part 2 on July 31, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live, signed by yours truly, Imelda Magtoto, our National President, Mr. Red Rosales, our Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of Board of Advisor, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar Magsino, our Secretary General, Consultant Lourdes Bernadette Carlos. Thank you, Sir Jovi.
Thank you very much, Chair May. Thank you, Andrea.
Also, certificate of appreciation is given to Ms. Alma Grace Sara, our NREA National Trustee, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as MC during the NREA Business Forum online entitled 4PH Programs, Policies, and Update Part 2, this day, July 31, 2024, via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live with the same signatories. Thank you, Consultant Alma.
Thank you po, ma'am. Okay, so that will be our end of the program. So may we have our board chair lady back again for the closing remarks, Ma'am May Imelda C. Magtoto.
I think we have a video for our Chair Emeritus Ka Pepe Manalad. His birthday today. Happy birthday, Tatay.
Happy birthday, Ka Pepe.
Don't lose your way with each passing day. You've come so far, don't throw it away. Live believing, dreams are for weaving, wonders are waiting to start. Live your story, faith, hope, and glory. Hold to the truth in your heart. If we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, where clouds roll by. For you and I, souls in the wind must learn how to bend. Seek out a star, hold on to the end. Valley, mountain, there is a fountain, washes our tears all away. Words are swaying, someone is praying. Please let us come home to stay. If we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, where clouds roll by. For you and I. When we are out there in the dark, we'll dream above the sun. In the dark, we'll feel the light warm our hearts, everyone. If we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, as high as souls can fly. The clouds roll by for you and
Happy birthday po sa ating founder, si Ka Pepe Manalad. For the closing ceremonies, may we have back our National Board Chair Lady, Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto. Ma'am?
Thank you, Consultant Alma. So we miss our Tatay Pepe. He's the organization man of NREA. Most of us are here because of him. Love you, Tatay Pepe. So good afternoon, everyone. NREA will always support and promote developments and proposal for the success of the 4PH program of the SUD and the government flagship program for housing. The 4PH program provides a safe, decent, and affordably priced homes with lower monthly amortization costs through the various subsidies to Filipino workers. NREA will always focus on its mission of elevating the real estate industry and national development and enhancing the lives of our fellow Filipinos. So thank you and congratulations again to our competent speakers, the SHU Director Frank Gonzaga, Pag-ibig Fund Department Manager Jackie Constantino, Oshdp Chairman and NREA Advisor Engineer Mars Mendoza, and Oshdp Vice Chairman and CEO of Houseland Group of Companies, Consultant Attorney Ryan Tan, our resourceful moderators, Consultant Dr. Pinky Asis Castro, and Parks National President Consultant Edwin Calamba. For our reliable MCs, NREA Vice President Consultant Jovi Tupas, Trustee Consultant Alma Grace Sara, NREA officers, advisors, members, the chapter, especially the NREA Metro Rizal chapter, Josephine Cortez, NREA Metro Tagaytay chapter, Imelda Gilayan, who participated in our program, our secretariat, fellow professionals, other organizations like SHEDA, our LGUs, our colleagues, friends, and guests, would like to invite you on our NREA mid-year GMM and Parangal on August 22 at Marquis Events Place in BGC. More power, thank you, and cheers to everyone.
Thank you to our National Board Chairlady, Ma'am Imelda C. Magtoto.
You look around and you can see a world of possibility. Through the dark or through the night, you know things will be alright. Soon we'll be what will feel like home for your family, this dream that you see. Hello, dream home. Hello, dream home, all your own. Hello, dream home, our very own. Hello, 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 I am home.
Here in the Philippines, there's good in investing in real estate. The future looks good, and there's no better time to invest than today. A good place to start life. A good space to be safe and secure. A good location where everything is just minutes away. And here at SMDC, we'll show you all the good you deserve. So, you want to live the good life? We'll show you why you should invest with the good guys. SMDC's good guys are trailblazing the Philippine real estate market today with smartly designed and sustainable communities, offering you a selection of premium, well-appointed properties all over the country. Prime locations designed with modern lobbies, well-planned, top-quality amenities for everyone to enjoy. Every detail you see is certified green and sustainable. A commercial retail environment is built on every development, making shopping malls and supermarkets accessible to families. Transport hubs are also situated near, so that moving around is made easier and safer. Living in one of our communities means you get to relish all these features. You also get to experience year-round family-friendly activities and events. For the business-minded future owner, we are offering a good deal. With our property management service, we can take care of hassle-free leasing for your units. Investing at SMDC means you have the chance to own the good life. You're not just investing for the future, you're also securing a place to settle down for good, making sure you and your family enjoy the good days ahead. The good guys will be there to welcome you. SMDC, home of the good guys.
Okay. I think that would be it. See you again on our third part kung meron po. Exciting.
Photo opportunity.